Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm Reverend Shorty. Today we're going to have a look at the seasons, and this is one that was actually on my pull list. I'm not going to lie, if it's something I'm going to go in expecting to like, I think you deserve to know that I've got a bias going in. And there's a few reasons why on this one. Mostly it comes down to the fact that it's Remender doing another one of his giant generator books, because for people who don't pay attention to my videos that much, my literal best comic book of last year in my countdown was a Rick Remender, also Brian Posehn, a giant generator book called Gromit, and it's fantastic. I love it dearly, and it's not the only good book I've read. I mean, just sticking with Remender, there's a Holy Roller, which is absolutely fantastic, but then Napalm Lullaby, Tin Can Society, both really, really good books as well. So I kind of had high hopes for this one, and I've got to say, it's not quite nailed it in the same way that the first issue of Holy Roller or Gromit did, but it's left me very much intrigued for what happens later. To say it's absolutely chock full of action and adventure, it still feels weirdly slow burn in a way that those other two didn't. They came in like all guns blazing and set things up and really got me hooked in storytelling modes and character beats and artistic style. And this one, yes, the artist is brilliant, and as I said, the action adventure is there, but the actual story itself is so far mostly just hinted at. But that's not a bad thing. I've criticised other books fairly recently for getting to the end of the first issue and leaving me adrift in terms of what the story is going to be, what the connection is between this multitude of characters that have all been introduced in tiny little snippets, what the state of the world is, whether or not certain things hinted at even exist. And sometimes that's good, but you need to at least give me something, and this one absolutely does. Because what we have is a absolutely wonderful, whimsical story in the vein of Hergé's Adventures, Tintin and Asterix and Obelix, as Remender himself says in the back matter. It is eclectic, it is full of motion, movement, it is full of joy and love and humour, and it looks fantastic. The artistry is brilliant. It veers into cartoony just enough to kind of make the silliness more grounded. I mean, at one point, our main character, one of the Seasons sisters, literally jumps on the back of some guy who's using a jetpack to do cleaning. It's brilliant. Love it. Absolutely ridiculous. Everything I wanted out of that kind of story. But that kind of story in and of itself doesn't usually keep my interest for very long. I've tried a few things like that. I think Atomic Robo, probably one of the ones where I'm like, yeah, it's kind of silly, kind of fun, and the writing is interesting enough, but at a certain point I do want a little bit more from my comic books. I've already mentioned Gromit and Holy Roller, this review. There's a reason why those have stayed with me, because they are both very funny books in their own way, with fantastic art and great stories. But I do think comic books can do more than just tell you a cool story. But all art can do more than just be pretty or be exciting for a while. Comic books especially kind of have to, otherwise they do fall into that trap of just being four-colour comic books about superheroes. When you got Gromit, you basically have an antidote to weaponized nostalgia. We have a story about how bad it is to be a kid in the 80s, be a skater or a punk or a young woman, any number of things that show just kind of how hard it was, and it wasn't all sunshine and roses. People looking back on it and understand that stuff was going wrong. Holy Roller, yes, it's about a kind of guy next door wannabe vigilante with bowling, temping bowling as his shtick, but it's also dealing with rampant anti-Semitism, white nationalism, and fascism. It's great that they go to that dark place, and I think it's because that's kind of what I want. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy what I'm reading. I want to have a laugh sometimes, but what I want is them to do a little bit more. And this story, with that amazing, fantastic, dynamic visual storytelling throughout of this young lady running through bakeries and through carnivals and all manner of things just to catch a letter. That's all it is, and it's just the vicissitudes of fate and weather that's keeping her from it. But it's bookmarked by absolute sinister happenings. Stories of cities going absolutely silent, people being lost in what appear to be their own reflections, the only sounds being a dog barking at a sinister carnival. We have an end where we find out what actually happened to one of her other sisters. The names of the Season sisters are exactly what you think they were. If they weren't, I'd be very disappointed. It'd be like Star Trek having the Romulans and not having the Remans. Beautiful, brilliant little bit of very simplistic but wonderfully well-hit storytelling there. But because we do get this sense of threat, something that's so dangerous that people should run from it, from hide from it, should fight it if need be, you do get a sense there's more going on. I don't think it's going to be as dark as any stuff I've read, but I like the fact that it's got that undercurrent there. Something that's a little bit spooky, a little bit creepy, a little bit weird, and I'm all down for that kind of thing. That's it for me for now. I do have one more thing I want to review, maybe even two. There might be some bonus weekend reviews coming in. Until I see you all again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.